everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just came back from my vacation. Nice to see you guys again. So today let's talk about an interesting topic. Look around the world today, and it feels like the ethnic and the religious conflicts are exploding everywhere. But there is one place where the headlines suddenly went quiet. Think about back to the late 2000s. Around 2008 or 9, back then, news about unrest in Xinjiang and Tibet was everywhere. Fast forward to today, and we barely hear about internal ethnic clashes in China anymore. Why is that? Did China actually solve its internal ethnic problems? Today, we're going to look at the massive long-term political strategy Beijing is using to ease ethnic conflicts. And spoiler alert, it all comes down to a deliberate, decades-long push for total assimilation. To understand how this works, we have to know that China officially recognizes 56 different ethnic groups. The majority is Han Chinese, making up over 90% of the population, while the other 55 are minorities. Now, some of these groups are religious, and some are not. For the groups without deep religious roots, assimilation is actually pretty straightforward. Historically, many of these minorities lived in isolated rural regions, so the Chinese government started offering special subsidies and incentives to encourage them to move out. Think about it. From the perspective of a young person living in a remote village, the income in a megacity like Shanghai or Shenzhen is exponentially higher than staying at home. So the youth left. They integrated into modern city life, got smartphones, and started working. Over time, their traditional ethnic culture and language naturally began to fade away. But the real challenge for Beijing comes with the ethnic groups that have deep religious identities. Specifically, the 10 predominantly Muslim ethnic groups and the Tibetan Buddhists. How does the government homogenize them? It's not just through economic pressure, it's through a brilliant hyper-targeted education pipeline. Every year, the government selects top minority students from these regions and sends them to boarding high school in major developed cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Chengdu, and Guangzhou. This sounds like a great deal, right? It is, but it's also a powerful tool for cultural dilution. If these smart, educated students choose to stay in big cities after college, they can't realistically maintain the restricted religious lifestyle they had back home. The environment just doesn't support it. Even if they do go back to their hometowns, they return with a completely different worldview. They've seen modern life, and they might start questioning traditional religious constraints. Plus, the government makes it much easier for these specific graduates to become local officials. By doing this, Beijing strengthened its control over the local government using people who are educated in the system. Moreover, all the religious activities must be fully controlled by government. Without permission, anybody cannot hold any religious activities by themselves. On top of that, you have the unstoppable rise of social media. Today, everyone is online. When young people in remote regions scroll through TikTok or Rednote and see peers living glamorous modern lives in big cities, the pull of strict traditional religious rules weakens. Modern customer culture is a powerful competitor to ancient religious traditions. Unlike many Western countries that try to preserve or even celebrate cultural and religious differences in schools, Beijing does the exact opposite. They minimize differences to emphasize one single identity, being part of the Chinese nation. Religious expression is strictly banned in public schools. For instance, a while back, A teacher was reported for wearing Muslim headscarf during class. The school gave her an ultimatum: take it off or get fired. She refused and was dismissed immediately. And interestingly, the vast majority of Chinese citizens supported the school. We see this in architecture too. Across China, mosques with traditional Middle Eastern domes have been systematically remodeled or torn down and replaced with traditional Chinese-style roofs. The goal is clear: erase the visual symbols that make these groups stand out. Now, Western media often points the existence of controversial re-education camps or study classes in these regions. I have to admit some of the news are still true, since under an authoritarian government, heavy-handed suppression is often the fastest way to stop immediate unrest. But brute force isn't a long-term solution, and Beijing knows it. The real strategy, the one that actually changes a society, is the invisible, gradual pressure of economics, education, and cultural dilution. It takes decades to see the results, but it is fundamentally altering the fabric of these regions. Please leave your thoughts in the comments and let me know what topic do you interested in for next video. Thank you. Bye bye.